Oh, we'll be getting started here in just a few minutes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody have a nice holiday weekend.
Holiday? What holiday was it?
Labor Day.
I'm sorry,
Yesterday.
I just got out of my hole, so I don't know. Crazy morning already. Glad I stayed completely away from the Euro USD. But I did well on 4 other ones, so good.
Well, look who's here, Mike Ficca.
How are you, Thor?
I'll spit
I'm
coffee
fine,
out.
Mike. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Thank you. Finally getting a couple DJ dates since I've been 2 dates since March 6th.
Wow.
Crazy.
Everything shut down. That
Yeah.
would hit you hard.
Yep. Looking for more passive income.
I've been doing this Twitch thing where twitch.com. I'm in doing live streaming of gaming, I thought of you that day because it's something somebody's like, do you play any music in the background when you play? And I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I've been doing the Facebook. You get cut off like after 20, 25 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, copyright issues.
Oh, boy.
So Twitch is my next. They don't really bother you too much there.
They don't, but you know, they'll shut you down after a while though.
Yeah.
They'll like close your account though. That's what you got to be careful. See, I use Epidemic Sound and the BMI applications when I play music. So,
Hey, buddy. I do. Good girl. So, are you still with the orchestra?
I am, but I'm laid off.
Yeah.
Due to the coronavirus. We're not performing anything until at least after the first of the year, and probably not then.
You doing anything online?
No.
Wow.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. They are. They are. They've done some stuff, and where they, I don't know exactly how they do it, but they come together and
it's like a Zoom call.
Yeah, basically, I guess. So yeah, they've been doing stuff. I was working from home for a while, but we weren't getting anywhere. So they just shut down the whole program, and at least probably till next March or March.
Yeah, I do these wedding after parties in Philadelphia. And, they've canceled March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and half of October so far.
Really?
Yeah. They don't have any outdoor venues.
Yeah.
We're looking at Ballroom at the Bend and Union Trust and Crystal Tea Room. They're all inside. And then they have their one out in Delaware, or out by Westchester. That's the one that does outside weddings. But they've lost millions. It's crazy.
All right, we'll be getting started here in a couple of minutes. Welcome to Jeff, Terry, Mike, Jeff, Al C. Welcome. Okay, I'm going to go down and start muting people as we go through. Don't take offense. I'm just getting some background noise. There's Victor S.A. Welcome.
Welcome there.
And if you have to, you can ask to unmute. You can usually unmute. Yeah, it's completely up to you guys. But we'll have a questions and answer phase in this process. We are recording, so for those of you that are watching after the fact, thank you very much for tuning in. We hope that you get a lot of information from this next part of the webinar. It's taken us some time, and I'll make a formal announcement in here in just a few minutes.
Hey there, Max. This is Victor.
Hey, buddy.
Eventually, I may have to deal with you. I've tried to set up my stuff last night. I mean, I get everything going, but it doesn't look like this. I had some difficulty, but I'll deal with you later or counsel.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll let you know I've got everything there. It's just some things, it doesn't seem like working. Once I do it once, I think I'll be okay.
I'm pretty sure you will be. It's very easy once you get on. All right, Thor, you ready?
Anytime. Go for it.
No, you go for it. You take it. I'm done. No, okay. All right, everybody. Hi, this is Max.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. It was good to talk to you. This is Max Farrow. Today is the 8th of September. Where the year went, not sure, but went to the COVID drain, I guess. A lot of things have happened over the last 9 months, of course. Lots of good things, lots of unusual things, and some bad things. not for the lack of trying. We have worked very, very hard to find solutions to get everybody to a point of being able to trade over the years. We've been in business now for, I don't know, 6 years, something like that, with Dex, the Dex family, Dex Signals, Dex Indicators, Dex Trader, Dex FX Markets, the Dex brand, 6, 7 years, 10 years working from home this coming month. This month, actually, here in about 5 more days on the 13th of September was when I first had an incident where I had to make the decision that I was going to work for myself, and my beautiful wife at the time, or still my beautiful wife, my beautiful wife decided that she was going to support everything I wanted to do from working from home, and I opened up my first radio network. With that, trials and tribulations. In order for me to explain in depth what has happened with the Dex brand, you have to kind of understand the terms that I'm going to use are not used lightly. Building a concept or an idea works with several different parts. The first part is being that you have the passion and the drive to do what you do. And I don't think that anybody could doubt the passion that myself and the team has had over the years. We have worked very hard to be a few things. One of them is transparent as much as possible, honest, forthcoming. We've had drive, we've had relationships, we've had many, many parts of our company build to certain levels. When I first started with this process, I was coming off of a very hard, I won't say failure, but I guess you could use the word failure, right? Again, another term that's perspective and really about your point of view of what failure is. For me, it's a learning experience. But those failures are always riddled with people that have had success with you or not success with you. Anytime that you're trying to build a program, you have expectation, which is another term that you all must know about. Expectation. The idea of something physically working to a point that you feel it could work to. Like if I feel like the Dex brand could make us good money, I put that out there. I tell people, here's what I expect, or here's what I hope. That hope and dream is never about a guarantee or a promise, but we work hard to strive to get to that point. The unfortunate thing is that as we first began with Dex Signals, we were in an industry that is riddled with scam artists and ripoff artists and people that just want to take your money and give you nothing in return. And we're in an industry that has brokers and relationships with scam artists that get you into those brokers, and they take advantage of you. So I'm only preaching to the choir here. There's some people here on the call right now that have witnessed everything that I have said. They've witnessed our hard work. They've witnessed our process of development. They've seen our expectations of what we wanted. Has everything come out exactly the way we wanted? And the answer is no, it hasn't. We have built massive programs. There is an AI program that we built with the DexBot system that was so large, it cost us $3,500 a month in servers to run an AI descriptive process and deep learning. Now, no matter how much that bot learned, the brokers could defeat it. So it didn't matter that there was a smart bot out there, because no matter how smart you are, you could still get hit in the head with a bat. And that's what the brokers did to us with the DexBot and the systems. As we started to develop our signal system, which was the first one, which was the daily signal, that network out there, that lasted 7 years. We recently just pulled it from our archives and our systems because of the following. One, it works, but not as well as we wanted to. And if we were going to have something that worked, we want it to work extremely well. We want it to be simple. We want it to be productive. And we don't want it to have to cost the majority of our resources. In order to keep the daily signals and the signal system and the intradays and the Dex atomic charts and all that kind of stuff working to the levels that we wanted to, we were spending $3,500 to $5,000 a month in expenses to make that work. So we had decided, I'm going to go ahead and mute some of you that are coming in. Please mute if you can. I'm going to mute all and then just unmute Thor when you need to come out, buddy. So long story short, over the last 7 years, we have strived. We have finally reached a process. Earlier this year, we came out with the Dex Atomic. And most of you know what that was. That system, and that's still the system here, is derived around the arrows and the support and resistance lines that we have created in the process we created of support and resistance. In creating that strategy and that signal system and that indicator, we had created a version of TradingView. Now, see, this is tradingview.com that you're seeing right now. But we had created our own chart system using the libraries from TradingView. And we put those onto a website. And that website was then framed into our dexfxmarkets.com system, where then people could go there and visualize it and see it. We were getting millions of hits a month. I kid you not, millions of hits a month. I could show you the data. But we were only getting a handful of people, not handful, I'd say about 1,000 hits a month through the website itself, through our members. The reason why we were getting millions of hits, well, because we weren't extremely secure when it came to sharing that information in that website. People could navigate by right-clicking the box and seeing where that website was. And so a lot of people did. So the decisions that we had to make were all the resources that we were putting out to create and keep the signal system and the Dex Atomic indicator charting system on the website was costing us a lot of money to do. In April of this year, April 1st to be exact, we turned off all of the subscriptions for all the people for just right about a month. And we made Dex Atomic for free. And we started to put it in the hands of people, no matter what level of security you had with financing. If you were making good money, if you weren't making good money, we decided to do this because we wanted as many people as possible to try this system to figure it out if it was something that could work. And we began to see a pattern in the process. People who traded the signals were trading them in a little bit longer term. They were taking a couple of steps forward and a couple of steps back, and it was very long in the tooth. And it was very difficult to get ahead at a very short period of time. The people that were in it for a long haul were always doing well with it. In fact, I have a few people that are a little upset with me because those signals are gone and they have to learn this new way of doing it. But once they did, they fell in love with this because it's a lot simpler. There's going to be some things that I'm going to show you today with this system as well, but I want to get this explanation, this declaration, if you will, out. Recently, we removed the daily signals and the signal system. We removed about 80% of the things that we have in the network there. And we put one thing on pause. Our main flagship system now, the Dex Atomic TV, standing for TradingView system, is all that we're going to push for now for a signal indicator process. This is all we're going to do. We're going to focus all of our energies into a laser focus of this system. Why? Because this system is what's making people money. This is the system that has proven itself over and over and over again. This system is what's going to fuel eventually here the Xenon system, the one that was using the signals that were doing halfway okay. We started to learn a lot about the data that was coming from the signals, and we started to see where Nadex could do their thing. Whereas the system for the Dex Atomic showed to make money from people that if they showed the patience and the discipline that we've always talked about, the P and the D, they could get to the C, the consistency. And once they got to the consistency, they simply would add the volume. And that's what we were really looking for the majority of people, was to be able to find the volume that people could get to. And if you're unsure whether or not the volume works, just ask people like David Meeting, who just recently graduated to 3 contracts at a time on the 2nd of this month in live money. And there's other people here too. There's myself, there's Thor, there's many other people that are in this system that are making the money. Now, most of the problem that this comes down to, where people sort of get away from the program a little bit, is when they start to add on extra things to try to force themselves into trade. The hardest thing to learn here is the patience and the discipline. You can ask David Meeting too, because the patience and discipline took a little while for him to get to that point of that less trades meant more money. And if you look back at his previous times, you'll see even when he was doing 2 contracts, he's down to about 3 or 4 trades a day, sometimes 4 or 5. You look back when he's doing live ones and he's in, there's sometimes 4, 5, 6 trades, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades there. And you go back to demo and you're really, you're seeing 20, 30 trades at a time. So if you see any patternistic process here, you'll see that it's the demo you're in, you're just learning. Then you sort of go, oh, aha, I get the CVG mentality. Oh, now I'm really getting CVG. From 720 to, what's the last one that he did in there? To 9.3. So about what, a month and a half, a little more than a month and a half. Made $6,500. Real money. That's real money. And to date, 72 something, 73, 74. So that's not too bad. But listen, you can't just come in and jump in tomorrow and be like, well, I want to throw down 3 contracts at a time. Let's make it work. It takes time. What kind of time? Well, since June, he started demoing out in June. About 2 weeks in, he started to go live, and he did live with 1 contract at a time for a pretty long time. So from June to, I think it was like, there's the 7th. So to July. So about a month he did live with just 1 contract. And then he did from July to September with 2 contracts. So about 2 months with 2 contracts. But as you can see, he started to develop a relationship. It only takes a couple. But now he's waiting for perfection. He's waiting for the value to hit exactly what he wants. He may have pushed the limit when he was doing demo or even live 1. He may push the limit a little bit, which ones he should have taken or not should have taken. But now he's taken only the ones he absolutely knows now from his experiences and at what times he can trade. This is by his development. We provided him the system and the training, and he developed his mentality to get to this point. I can't force you to do this. I can't force you to be patient and disciplined. You have to learn that, and that comes from doing. So with that said, the TradingView system, the Dex Atomic TradingView system, is the only system we're going to be utilizing, and I'm going to be trading on. And for you Zedon folks, if you're here and you're watching this, or you're watching this after the fact, and you're like, well, I signed up for the Zedon system and then signed up to sit in front of my computer all day. I don't think David Meeting sits in front of his computer all day. So that's a pretty lame excuse. The time it takes you to actually do the trades themselves, probably about 5 minutes at the top of the hour. If you don't have that 5 minutes at the top of the hour, then you don't really have 5 minutes at all, because you're not going to be able to do that with the Zedon as well. You have to maintenance and watch the Zedon. It's not a set and forget. You got to pay attention. So our goal, I've always said, is to try to help as many people find their idea of success. Unfortunately, some of you guys' idea of success is, I want to sit and do nothing to get something. Or some of you work very hard, and I appreciate that. But I also know this is not for everybody. What we have here is a very powerful solution for people to be able to take on the idea of trading on Nadex, making some money, doing it at a relatively low period of time. I mean, if you look back at Menning's time periods, yeah, they're a little late at night. He's a retiree, so he trades at a little bit different time period than most. There's some that are early, some there's 8 a.m., there's 4 a.m., there's a whole bunch of stuff. He may just be whatever, while others are in trading throughout the day. For me personally, I get up, I get up super early, but my kid has school and we're doing all this stuff. And so between 9 and 12, I'm in trading, trying to find some trades to get into and get on par. But again, I'm looking for perfection. There's a setup that I'm looking for. I paper trade still. I demo trade still. I look at different variances on which one's the best for me and what have you. So as I said, the signal system is gone. The network system it's only the Dex portal now. There's going to be more training coming in here, but there's the training right here on the page for the Dex Atomic as it is. Under the Dex Atomic TV overview, there is everything you need to get started with applying the Dex Atomic system to your program. Don't just go give me the indicator and go, Max, I haven't gotten the indicator. You actually have to, once you apply, and if you're already paid member, there's a system in here. This is how you apply it to the indicator. Well, we're going to have more training that's coming today and tomorrow on some of the breakdowns. And I'm going to show you some stuff that we're going to do today in learning how to use this box system that we're doing and why I do this. This is a validation and qualification system for me. For some of you that are having a hard time choosing an area to be in, I'm going to give you some hard lines to be able to work with and why. You're going to probably fall in love with this little box process. It's going to set a lot in motion for you. Okay. All right. Now, along with this drill down of the system, we've created only 2 memberships, the Den and the Green Room. Both have Discord rooms. The Den chat, of course, and the Green Room chat. Lots going on with my computer at the moment. Now, under the Den, it's a certain amount a month, but it's split into 2. If you're already a paid member, if you already have a membership, if you already have a founder's fee, if you already have all that stuff, you waive half of this price. There's a $100 utility price when you're in the Den. And what this does is that it pays for the customer service, the consults, the indicator itself being maintained and run with and worked with. It creates a process in here that if you're making money, if you've gone live, if you've worked at that level, you're making money, you should be able to afford this per month. If you can't, then you just call and talk to me. If you have a membership and you want to get started and you don't have the amount for the utility, but you've already paid your membership and all that stuff, just give me a call. Just write me and we'll get you in and we'll get you practicing and get you training and get to that level so you can start making that $3,000, $4,000, $6,000 a month. I don't care if it takes you a month of Sundays. I'm here for you. I want you to be successful at this. But you got to put the effort in. The Green Room's the same thing. The Green Room, you're here, you'll get a lot of the benefits. When you get set up, you'll think you're a Den member, right? Because there's going to be a lot of hands-on that we're going to be doing together. But if you just want the Green Room, you just want to be in there to be left alone. See, with the Den, you got a little bit more responsibilities. You got to show your journal. I want you to be successful. Okay. Well, I want you to be successful in the Green Room too, but you may only want to do it on your own time and all that stuff. Here, I'm going to keep you pushed. You're going to put out a journal and I'm going to be looking at the journal and be like, hey, why'd you do that trade? You're going to make a clarifying statement and I'm going to pick you up and pull you aside and ask you, hey, what are you thinking? What are you doing? Why are you trying to do that? Let's talk. Here, you're going to be on your own with the process. That's why it's a lot cheaper. Half off, basically. Okay? There's no benefit for you to be in the Green Room and be by yourself if you really want to be successful. Be with people that you work with. But again, we can make deals and work all that kind of stuff out. So with that said, I'll open this up to questions for now before we get into learning a little bit about this, because I'm going to start like 0 and show you how to attach to your chart, do all that stuff here in this if you're not sure. So you can see the complexity, the simplistic complexity, I would say, an oxymoron there. So if anybody has any questions, please come out now.
Max, it's Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hi. Just a quick one. Can you just quickly explain before you go into the logistics of it, how you changed the color of your screen here? I mean, obviously I have mine white because white's good for my eyes, and you prefer black because that's good for your eyes. Just an idea, just for those that are just wondering, because some people might not like, I might be a bit confused when it comes to having a black or a white screen.
Sure, absolutely. But I would like to do that in the next segment, if that's okay. If anybody has any questions about what we just talked about, closing the signals, and any questions about their membership or anything like that, if you could bring that out now, that would be great. But Paul, yes, I will address that here. Okay. If you have a paid membership and you're paying monthly and you're not over in the den yet, let's get you over there. If you were paying under $200 a month before, you're still going to pay that amount. It's just going to be whatever you're paying now is what you're going to pay. Okay. So if you have any questions about, Max, am I going to go up to 200? Is that what's going to happen? No, whatever you're paying right now. Now, if you're paying more, like say if you're in the green room and you're paying $157, you're going to drop down to 100. We've always done that. If we found somebody paying more than somebody else with a system that's active, this is only going to be the two levels. So you're either going to pay $100 a month or $200 a month. Or if you're already a founder, blah, 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 you know the drill, right? We're not going to charge you membership fees for that stuff. But the utility costs to keep that system going, because everybody's going to get that process, the ZDON system, all of it. Now, some of you asked before, why did the ZDON close? Well, one, because the ZDON isn't gone. It's still there. It still connects. Matt and I were just talking in an email yesterday, late last night, and everything's still in there. It still will attach, but there's no signal to push through it, because what we're trying to create is the Dex Atomic signal system that you have on yours has an alert, and that alert we can put through a webhook, and that webhook can attach to your own ZDON. So basically, you can create what pairs you want to file through your ZDON system from your trade value. And so we're creating that, but that takes time, as we all know. Anybody who bought the ZDON before won't pay anything for the new one, of course. If you have multiple positions, you can either sell those positions out. I'm not going to sell them for you. If you're going to sell them out, you sell them out. If you have somebody who wants to have a lifetime subscription to that process, sell it out of wherever you want to sell it. If you have a membership, if you have multiple founder positions and you want to give one to somebody and have them pay you per month for membership for it, whatever deal you want to work out with somebody, I'm willing to help you collect for it. So if you're watching this and you have a tendency to want to be a part of it, then let's be a part of it, but let's be all in. Let's make it happen. All right. Now, in this next part of the series of this webinar today, some of you are here, you're already a member, you're already in learning this stuff. You're going to have questions. If you have training and issues or any problems whatsoever, you can hit up the customer service line. There's a couple of us in there still. We still. Before I go on, let me just reiterate one more thing. We didn't drop the signals down and all that kind of stuff because we're closing, by the way. We're not going anywhere. And some of you should appreciate this fact that when you get to a point where you know the one thing works, you don't need all the other stuff in there. This is what works and works well. We're not a one-trick pony. You all know that. We have many things in there that we have created that do work, that work hard. I'm pretty sure that there's still some people using the DexBot, but in their own way, or the StepBot network in their own way. So I want you to realize this. I'm not going anywhere. I'm making good money doing this. I'm pretty sure David Menning's never going anywhere. He's making good money doing this. Okay. So if you are having problems, yes, just reach out to me. You can hit me in Discord. You can ping me in that network. This is a good communications network. So please keep that in mind. If you have any problems, just reach out to me and we can work anything out. Don't just disappear. All right. So let's get jumping into this. For the most part, when you're doing if I have to talk to you from the point of, let's just say that you've got a brand new, you have a Facebook account, you have a brand new trading account with TradingView, or you're in the free site. It doesn't really matter. A chart's a chart's a chart. Okay. Now, as Paul was saying, what's the difference between the prenuptials of white or light? There's an overall dark or light theme once you're onto a chart. You just come up here to those three little lines here, clicked in, and you can come down and it says dark color theme. This might be the white one. I just blew my eyeballs out.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So you see, so for me, I like the dark theme. I have cataracts in one eye and blind in the other, right? So I like the dark theme. But overall, where you could adjust even some of the finer parameters is that if you come up here to the chart, and you'll see where it has little settings here, you just click on that. And you can do background, maybe like yellow. Or green. Okay. Hit cancel. Now, if you get into a point where you have all this stuff happening, I don't want to get too much. I'm going to make a video on just the settings. But if you ever get into a problem, you just come down. If you've like set it to like fuchsia or something, and you're like, Mags, please help me. I don't know what I did wrong. I can't get back. You can always hit your chart and come back to where it says apply defaults right down here. And that'll bring you back to whatever it was before. But then you're going to have to go through and clean everything up and do all that stuff again. Now, when you apply defaults to certain things, whatever chart you're under the, if you have a certain chart, if I load my chart and I do the Dex atomic system in there, okay, and I go and I've created a watch list over here. You'll learn how to do that. Then, and I've applied default. So now I've kind of taken some things that were on my chart before that I didn't want on there. Hang on a second. Okay. But that's how you change the color, and you can work with settings. If you ever have any issue, you just click that little wagon wheel up here, this little cog wheel, and come down and hit apply defaults. But also, if you change something and you like it and you never want it to go away, you could do a save as and just name it. And then if you ever have a problem, you go to something else you don't like. No, I want my Dex Atomic back. And you do that, okay? In the training, I'll discuss what this other stuff is and why, the way the body is. You could change the candle color. You could change the status line. You could change the scale, all that stuff. Now, where a lot of people get mixed up at is that if you have a new chart up, okay, I'm going to do a new chart. Doesn't have anything on. This is the chart like you're going to see here without that in there. Okay, this is where when you don't have the indicator yet. Where do you find the indicator? Well, you simply got to go to indicators and hit that. And you don't go to my scripts. You go to invite scripts only. Invite only scripts. And if we have given you access to it, it'll be here for you. The Dex Atomic for Nadex is what you'll be using. The Dex Atomic B is for indices and commodities and stuff like that, things that I don't even use. But I've given it to people. We might even be removing this because it's too much. There's too much stuff. And we'll talk about that here in about 10 minutes about what's too much, what's overdoing it. So then you simply just grab the Dex Atomic, place it on just like that. I'm going to remove the volume indicator here. And I'm going to want to place under indicators, under built-ins, I want to look for my moving average. Now there's my moving average there. Now, in some cases, since I've applied defaults now, all my defaults are gone. It's going to give me a moving average with a 9 in it. So what I want to do is hover over it, go to my wheel. I'm looking for a length of 50, which means 50 bars back. Okay. And I'm going to hit OK. I'm also going to go back in there because I can't stand it being so thin. So I want to go to style and I want to go to a little bit thicker here, like that. Maybe just less. Yeah, that one's good. And here's how I want my stuff set up all the time. Now, I also have a watch list over here, and you can see on the watch list, I only have 5 pairs. Some of you may have a whole bunch of other ones. You can right-click the pair and see a lot of information in there. Okay, but if you want to add a new one, create a new list. If you have a free system, you may not be able to create a new list. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to delete the other ones that you don't want, which you just hover over and hit the little X, and that'll kill that one. It'll take it off. So you just killed my Euro JPY. And if you want to put another one back on, do the Euro JPY. And there you go. I use the first one that pops up, which is FXCM. And I just click that, and there we go. If you want to move it up a list, you can just click on it and hold on to it and let it go, and you can move it wherever you want in your list. You can expand this by hovering over any of the boxes and seeing a little double-headed arrow and moving it back and forth wherever you need. I only trade the 5, the big 5. Why? Because I could trade them any day, any part of the day. I can't tell you how many times I've come in and traded a secondary pair, like the, Great Britain pound or the Great Britain pound JPY, and it's 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh, there's a set. Oh no, okay, I don't have a thing on. There's no trading time for that at night. But because I trade it from 9 to 12 in the morning, in the morning Eastern time, I can have setups on all of them. But how many do you really need? I'm not looking to fit a trade in my schedule. I'm looking for the perfect setup. And we'll talk about what that perfect setup is. Also, as another thing too, when you first start out, if you get to this screen like this, right? If your Dex Atomic looks like this, and you always have to kind of sort of spread it out all the time, it's because inside your little pricing section here, right click and do scale price chart only. Okay, and then also fits data to screen. That'll get you set up that every time you go to a new one, the information will be there and set up properly. Okay. All right. So I got some house cleaning stuff out of the way. Any questions on that?
If you're using like all 10, you can flag the main 5 the way you've got them up there.
Right.
That's a handy feature to point out.
Yeah, if you're using all 10, you can flag the main 5 that you do or one that you like the most, right? I kind of pay attention to what I like to, which ones I like to use. I might even be removing one. Okay. And now I think at this point, also keep in mind too, I'm using Chrome. If you're using Edge or Internet Explorer, your flags or your arrows might be different. Thor.
Yes.
But we spent hours. We literally spent hours looking for
half an hour anyway.
Well, I don't know how long you spent prior to.
Right.
You told me about it, and I went to look for an answer, and I couldn't find one. But we finally figured out he was using Edge or Internet Explorer, so it looks a little different. Also, some of you may not be used to using this type of screen in this type of system. You want to be successful, you're going to have to learn. It is easy. It is intuitive. It's got a lot of stuff and a lot of bells and whistles, but still, what doesn't nowadays? Bet you some of you didn't ever think you'd be working from home permanently. Okay. So if no questions more on the setup of this system, I now want to just kind of show you a little bit of the strategy and why it works so well. And some of the things that, Max, which one do I go with? That's the biggest question we get. What statement do I go with, Max? I see the arrow. Yeah, there's the arrow. Can I just get in right now and at the price it is right now and that arrow's good? No, it's not. We're not going after every single arrow. Now, we do have a strategy called the all-in strategy where you can do each one. You just have to go at a good level. But what level do you do? We have that strategy. It's still there, but I'm going to teach you now a little bit of a process that's going to kind of blow you away. And we call it the box method, box validation. But before I do, I want to just quickly go over the process of the Dex atomic and what it's doing, right? We're looking at the blue line as the moving average. So if the price is above the moving average and has a green arrow for a buy, this is normally a good signal. A good signal to have because it's above that, it's above the price. You got 2 or 3 objects that are in your favor for that to be a good trade. If price is below the moving average and the arrow is red, that's a good signal. Now, don't be tricked by this signal here because guess what? In all actuality, the arrow in the signal happens at the open of that bar, not the close of the bar, but at the open. So actually the price was above the moving average. Even though this one won, it still was above. So there's probably been one that maybe disqualified me just at first glance. But again, I'm going to show you a process here that may sort of break that rule a little bit for you, but show you how it'll still become productive for you. We call this the box method. Now, within the box method, I'm going to take 3 variables. I'm going to take a high price, a low price, and a time. And I'm going to apply those to what we refer to as the mean. Now, I have my little handy dandy box tool and line tool and text tool and little drawing tool all set up here. And how I do that is that if you find them over here on the left, you can click on them. See a little star there. I can add to favorites. See, I just added that one, but I don't like that one, so I'm going to take it away. And when it does that, it's going to put the box out this way. Okay. So pretty powerful little tool there just to kind of have, and it's always set where you set it at. So if I put it right there and I go to the Your JPY, it's still set there. Pretty cool little tool. All right. So let's get into a little bit of the strategy of the box validation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find the pair with a signal. There's nothing firing off at this moment for these 5 pairs. And that's okay. If I was just in for trading for now, that would have been a quick 5 minutes and gone. I wouldn't even been at the computer very long. You can set this up on a pad too, by the way. If you carry a pad around, I know David Meeting and other people use like their phone and other things to trade. And just to be weary of a statement that we have, learn to make it before you make it easy. Learn to make it before you make it easy is a term that you should carry with you, because if you're calling me and you're like, Max, I want to learn how to do your Dex Atomic. Can I do it on my phone? No, not in the beginning. You need to practice. You need to become very fluid. Okay. So what tools are we going to be using for this box method? We're going to be using our box, of course, and a trend line tool. Okay. So automatically we see that here's the MA, this green arrow, you kind of know that it's not going to work out for you because it's below, right? But we have a red arrow that's below and price is below. Now, within some degree of information of how much price moves, we have to be careful, right? If it moves really super far, it's going to try to come back to the mean, right? They call this an impulse move. When you have 3 or 4 bars that makes the price go really far. And every impulse move has what we refer to as a reactive move, which is going to try to get back to the mean. So the price, look what it's doing. The mean's coming to price, or the price is coming to mean, chicken or egg, doesn't really matter. But we're going to use a box validation here on this signal because it's the one below. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to come to the bar before the arrow, because this is relative bar we're going to look for. And I'm looking for the lowest low of a period of time. Now we're going to use 4 hours. I know it's really far time, right? 4 hours right here. We're going to go back 4 hours. So here it's 8:55. So really 9 o'clock. Think of it as 9 o'clock to 4 hours. Really simple math. 4 hours, 9 o'clock, that's 5 o'clock, right? So I'm going to select my box, come to that area right there, and I'm going to drag back 4 hours. So you see the time on the lower left to where it says 5 o'clock. I found the low there. I started at the low, and I'm going to come up to the high during that time. That's right about there. Go right there and let go. There you
You're
go.
using the close of the candle, not the tail, right?
Yeah, well, I use the close of the candle. Okay, you can have it to where you can use listen. You could do either. Literally, this will give you a little bit more protection. For me, I've always found that the close is the actual number. And the wick is the hunt, right?
Right.
I'm just looking for the final of what that bar is, not what the price got hunted to or pushed to that way, right? This is speculation. This is actual. So for me, using the closes and opens of those bars is more standard information than it is relative of how far it could have gone, right? Because if it closed at that point, because it could have broke you could have said, okay, I want to put my statement here, and it went all the way above. And with Nadex, it's not going to stop you out, right? If we were playing trading Forex, I'd probably go to the outside. But if we're trading Nadex, I'm going to go to the close and open. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we got a 4-hour box. This is your validation tool. Now, the cool thing is that these little anchor points that you see here, this already kind of sets up for this 4-hour time. This is the high and this is the low. So where's the mean? These little anchor points are set exactly half. So that kind of cheats, right? You kind of know almost immediately that that's the mean. So if that's the mean of that high-low 4-hour period, that's telling me that that's a pretty good, and you can kind of see there's a red, super red line right there. It's kind of giving me a little bit of area to choose from. Now, of course, if we came here and went to the mean, we probably wouldn't get bought in. So, but this is a safe trade to take. When I say trade, I mean working order. When I mean working order, I mean that's what I would take from that point because the price has moved this far. I would put this down as a working order in that statement. I wouldn't come down to try to get it closer. Okay, because it's going to be below, and let me get down here. It's got to be a sell. I would take this. Now, would it get filled? No. But you're looking for perfect setups. You're no longer going to be going in, just take every single one to see which one fits. Look for the perfect setup. If the price is below that mean, take the mean as the statement. You may not get set up there. Now, the mean of the mean, all right? So the quarter. Let me take that one. Now, how do we know which one's the quarter? This one, we got to be a little bit more creative. It's called using your carpenter's eye, right? You're looking about halfway in between here, this point, and this point. Well, crap. This 4-hour period already has one set up. It's right there. That's very close, right? That red line is right there. It's kind of weird how all this is lining up, isn't it? So then I could easily just draw another line. I could draw a line right there. Looking about halfway in between. Now, if you're terrible at drawing straight lines like I am, just click on your line tool. I'm going to use a Control Z. Now, I'm going to hold Shift button down. Wait, first I'm going to click on my line. I'm going to come where I want to set it up. I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to draw my line. And look, it's straight. Even when my mouse is going up and down, it's still straight at the level that I want it to be at. Now, I want you to see that, right? Ooh, hang on a second. I still have my line. I hold Shift and it drops down, right? And I click my mouse and it's there. This is the mean of the mean, right? I call this the quarter mean. Now, this is a safe trade to take and working order, and this is more higher risk. This, if it gets filled, you're going to win about 80% of them. This one, if it gets filled, you're going to win about 60% of them, 62, 63%. But let me tell you, even doing that, taking that particular trade at that higher level, if it's below the quarter mean, that's a good level to take it at. Now, if the price was up in here above the quarter mean, this is definitely the one you want to take, but this would be then considered high risk. You would then go where? That's right, the one above quarter mean in that top region. If you think of these as hemispheres, right? Top, lower. Then this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Set up in 4 zones. Deviations, if you will. So which one would you take at that point then? Now, if the price is sitting here and it's a sell, right? The price is sitting in this zone all the way down here. This is a good high risk to take, but this is a safer bet. If the price is up in here, this is a risky trade to take, but this one's a safer bet. Now, you may fill in a lot less of these, but you'd fill in a lot more of these, but you'd have to trade more. You'd physically have to get into more trades at that time. I hope that makes sense. Simplicity. Box. We'll go back one more. We'll go back to this one here since it's a little bit lower. It's already been devaluated because it's above, the price is above the moving average. But let me show you something. If I take my box tool and I start here and I go back 4 hours, remember, I'm hovering over at 7 o'clock. So 4 hours is what? 3 o'clock. I can look over. Oh, I gotta use my mouse wheel here a little bit. So I'm looking for 3 a.m., which is right there. Now, if I don't really cover it too well, I can always grab onto the anchor points and move up. And then I'm looking for the low, which is right there. Now look at this. I already knew that it wasn't really a good trade to be on because where's my mean? Right there. Okay. So once it fired out and I have this box set up, is this a trade to be into? Well, if you wanted to do the quarter mean at that point on a sell, that's up to you, but that's even a higher risk trade than the other ones I was telling you about. Now, this could be also considered an OTM trade with the possibility of it going down at that point. But again, that's another strategy to work with. I just wouldn't take this trade. Even though that it wins, it doesn't fit the bill. What am I really looking for? Let's go back one more and have a look at the previous trade right here. Now that my box is already set up to 4 hours, I could just move it to that kind of level and then move it to the price. But look what happens here. When you get a box that doesn't have a lot of pips in it, this is what, 29 down to 20. This is only a 7-pip box. The formula still works. Click on it. There's the mean. Okay. If I was trying to do quarter mean at that point, because it's above that, it's still there. This one would have gotten filled, but at higher risk. It would have gotten filled right there. But look at that. It touches it. Boom, right there. Now, it would have gotten filled on the mean right there, right here. Because it gets within 2 pips, it's filling. So I've already showed it 1,000 times. And then takes off and wins. If you took the quarter mean, you would have win OTM at that point, but it was still 1. Making sense now? So it's very, very simple. And this validation process of using this box as what level to get is very, very powerful. But before you start going off and just taking every single trade and using the mean and the quarter mean and that kind of stuff, I want you to take a quick look at price before look left a little bit and see what price is doing during that time. What I look for in perfection of trades is I'm looking for a good substantial trend. Okay. I'm looking for a trend. Now the Euro USD is all over the place, right? Really far movement, back to the thing, lots of choppiness, back all the way down, up, choppiness, real big impulse, back to choppiness. Look at these big bars. I'm not even going to touch anything with the Euro USD today. Okay. Even though that technically this would have been a trade we would have gotten into because it would have been above the mean and all that stuff. If I looked previous, there was a lot of choppiness and there was no news happening and it was early in the morning. But I wouldn't have taken this trade at that point. One, as I use the box validation method, go back 4 hours and it's at 9 o'clock. So 5 right there. It's really super close to the mean. Okay. And if I get that close to it, remember, this one's the higher risk. The one, whatever quadrant it's in, is higher risk. So where would I have taken it? Would have been down here in the quarter mean at that point. But even then, I would have still lost. If I would have taken it back there. This was a natural loss then at that point. That's okay. I'm not looking to take my losses and learn from them so I never get that loss again, right? But this is a natural loss. If you use those methods, that's okay. Two trades back. Same thing here. Higher risk, lower risk. The lower risk one would have won. The higher risk one would have lost. But again, you would have only lost $45 and not 80 something dollars if you were doing in the money. Right. This was even wrong. It's right there. So quarter mean 1. All right. So at this point, are there any questions on the setup or setting up that box and setting up the process and knowing what all the elements are? Any questions whatsoever? You guys are getting it. Okay. Those that are watching this that are not part of the system or in the den, I want to invite you to take on that responsibility. If you're here, you have an interest in this company. If you're here, you want to make something work. I do want this to work for you. I wouldn't be in this business and doing what I'm doing now if I didn't want it to work. If I was only money oriented, then I wouldn't be bothering with people that couldn't pay. I want you to be successful in this. So even if you can't afford, if you can afford to pay, please pay. If you can't afford to pay, then let's work out a deal and work out something that you can pay it off as you go live and you start making money. Because you're going to need money to trade. This isn't a chip in a chair kind of mentality. You're not going to be able to sit down with $200 and make $1,000 a month. You're going to have to save your money. You're going to have to be able to do that. I'm being real with you. The reason why we made the den, why it's being so successful right now is because those people in there want to make money. If you're having problems with liquidity, if you're having issues, please talk to me. We'll work it out. All right. All right. Are there any questions or statements or anything else?
This is Victor. Max, I think that for those that are new, those of us who have been around a while, when Max was like 5 years old, when we've worked on projects in the past, when we were taking losses, so were you when we were experimenting and learning. So it was a shared experience. The other ones that they don't know fact is back in the day, actually a little bit over a year and a half ago, you were up to 3 o'clock in the morning, help us recover our money if we could. You were working for us, not for yourself. I think that's important for people to understand who's listening. I
appreciate that. I really do. Because it's when there were a lot of people that were suffering at those points. And because of things that I built. But that's the promise that I made you guys, is I would do my best. It's not because I didn't want it to work. And You know, I've had failures in the past. I've had things that have failed, and people were mad at me because it failed, because we tried to work hard and our expectations were high, and I may be at the fault why they failed, or who knows. But I never ran away. I never hid myself. I'm the same person I've always been, and I'll keep that with all of you. If ever the company is ever going to go under, I'll release the source code. Thor knows what the source code is, and of the indicator, and so does Paul and several others. So you'll always have the tools, even if I'm not there to give them to you or help you with them. So, but we're here to help you and make it work. I would love to have 300-400 of you in there just making it work every day. Am I happy with the 50 or 60 people that are in there? Yeah, absolutely. But we could quadruple those numbers easily. All right. If there's no other questions, I really do appreciate everybody's time. Thor, Paul, all you guys, thank you very much. This is not an easy time with COVID and everything else that's happening. If you desire to make it work, if you can't afford to do it, I want to be able to give you an opportunity to be able to work it, trial it out, get in there and make it work. You just got to get in and hit me up through customer service and talk to me, or through Discord or what have you. But I will hold you accountable to be in there and working the system. It's not easy to keep your mentality straight, but once it is, there are people in there that are going to tell you, hey, listen, stop overthinking things. Just follow the rules. This box validation method works. It keeps it solid with your arrows working above and below the mean. And it can make you good money. There's no doubt in there. But you got to get out of your own way with it. All right. I want to thank everybody for being here today. That's my time. I got to get back to teaching my kid homeschooling. Got to go relearn math again, unfortunately. You guys have a great day. I look forward to seeing you on side. And as always, trade well.